Hey guys, Vivek Jaiswal is with me. He's the CEO and co-founder of Customer Guru, which is a boutique customer experience consultancy based in Bangalore. And he's also co-founder of Omoto, which is an omni-channel NP solution for your business. So hey Vivek, can you tell us a bit more on what Customer Guru is, what you do, and what Omoto is?
Hey, Sunil, thanks for having me on this podcast. Customer Guru started out of my sheer desperation of getting a better experience as a customer here in India. So the story goes that I had come back to India in 2014 after a couple of years of stint in Europe and having lived around the world before that. And I was having a terrible time setting myself up with an internet connection, a mobile connection. And within a few days, I realized that businesses are not too keen on giving their customers a very good experience over here, which was a bit of a shocker for me because we as Indians, we are culturally more inclined to deliver good service. And it was not happening. So I kind of made it my own mission that, okay, I have to help businesses here develop a customer experience practice and help them improve customer experience, educate people about why customer experience is so important. And only then can they become a little more competitive globally when it comes to delivering great experiences around the world. So that's how I kind of started Customer Guru.
Awesome.
Customer Guru was I started just going around telling people if you need help to set up customer experience practice, I can do that for you. And over a period of time, I realized that there is a very good mechanism of learning how well you are doing with when it comes to customer experience. So that's how we set up Omoto, which is an omni-channel solution to help companies get customer feedback and make sense of it in real time.
Awesome. That sounds interesting. Like you saw a problem yourself that you're facing, and then you went out ahead, started a company, and now you're solving it.
Yeah, I think that's how entrepreneurs are born.
Like so, tell me, Vivek. Like in like when you're consulting these companies or when you're helping them with customer, so I believe that like you might be implementing something called as a customer focused strategy, right? So what is exactly a customer focused strategy?
Yeah, I actually like to call it from customer focus. I would rather say it is more of a person focused strategy where we help our clients understand the person behind the numbers, the number of customers that they have. Every company kind of talks around the number of customers they've acquired, the volume and the value and those kind of things. But we tend to forget that there are people behind these numbers, and they have experiences, they have feelings, and they go out and talk to other people, which kind of influences the buying decision of other people as well. And that's why it becomes incredibly important to become person focused. And the way it kind of starts off is by understanding the needs, desires, and problems of each of your customers. And you identify your customers by building personas, which are not generic demographic information like age, gender, or geography, but more personalized, like Vivek, 36 years, likes beer and reads about entrepreneurship and leadership, etc. So you get the picture. That's the first step, and that's how you kind of get started with looking at all of your functions and understand whether your business functions are delivering value to that person or not. So it's a lot about uh, becoming focused on delivering value to each of your customers who are people and becoming more personalized for each of them. And the goal is to build uh, the marketing strategy, the sales strategy, and your product and everything for a one customer segment.
That's interesting. So instead of calling it customer focused strategy, you're calling it people focused strategy because you say people are behind everything that's happening in the company. That's obviously true, I guess.
True.
Yeah, yeah. So, and why do you think it's important for any business to implement a people focused strategy? Like, is there any direct correlation between implementing a people focused strategy and the growth?
Definitely, there is. I think what is happening in today's world is that because of the availability of information with each person, people are a lot more educated about the kind of decisions that they're making. And let's talk about B2B scenarios. Barriers to entry for competition is going down. The cost of switching for customers is low right now. And to stay relevant for your customers, you have to be more personal to them. And that is why it becomes a lot more important. If you have to kind of stay in the market and grow, you have to put the person at the center, your customers at the center of everything that you do. In fact, I was reading some of the research done by Forrester in B2B. About 68% of customers prefer to research independently about their buying decision online. And then there are 60% of the customers would even prefer not to speak to a salesperson while making a buying decision. So therefore it becomes a lot more important that your marketing, specifically your marketing, is very personalized. It kind of speaks to that particular buyer who is researching online and coming across your content. So I'm kind of switching between the overall strategy of a business, but also how do you kind of acquire that one person as a customer.
Right. That totally makes sense. I kind of resonate with what you're saying here. Like, your content or your strategy should be focused on what people are looking for, and not the other way around. So yeah, crazily enough, that Spot recently came up with a new funnel kind of thing, which is called the Spots Flywheel. So have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have. In fact, thanks to you, I kind of got introduced to it.
Great, yeah. So if you've gone through it, so what do you think of the HubSpot's flywheel? Right, it's something which is obviously keeping customer centric flywheel, right?
Yeah, and I really liked the whole idea, and it resonated really well with me personally, because also there are certain things that we do with our clients. We help them set up a customer journey map, and customer journey map and the customer flywheel that has been introduced by HubSpot looked quite similar to me, because the flywheel talks about attract, engage, and delight customers, keeping your customers at the center. And on the other hand, the customer journey map talks about visualizing your customers' journey through your business, even before they make the purchase, and while they're making the purchase, and while they're experiencing the service or the product, and after that also. So, which is more or less the same thing. The flywheel is kind of making it circular, whereas the customer journey map makes it a journey, which is both interesting and quite intriguing to find correlations between. So I feel what the customer flywheel is bringing on the table is a decision making framework for organizations to not just imagine. And I mean, the comparison between the flywheel is coming directly with the funnel, which is where the funnel is completely sales focused, and you put leads on the top and you kind of trickle down to the bottom, where you find end up getting some contracts and win new customers. Whereas the flywheel is saying that it's a circular journey where you attract customers, you kind of get them into the wheel, and as your wheel grows, the momentum in the wheel also increases. And that's how you have to start thinking of making decisions. What are the frictions and points which are creating bad experiences for the customers across their journey, from before the acquisition of the customer to the point of acquisition, and through the experience of the product or the service, and post that as well. So that's what I have kind of understood of flywheel, which kind of very well correlates with the customer journey mapping.
Awesome. So you just mentioned about reducing some the friction which causes problems in the functioning of the flywheel. So can you give us some example of what kind of frictions and what are those in the real life?
Yeah, I mean, if you just think of something as simple as, let's suppose I want to go have a cup of coffee, yeah, and I decide to go to, let's say, Costa Coffee, and while I'm kind of driving down to Costa Coffee, and I have to find out parking space first of all. And Bangalore is
Right.
not so parking friendly, so that's a point of friction for me. So maybe it would help Costa Coffee to
Right.
have a dedicated parking space for customers. Yeah, that's a point of friction. Then there is when I enter the Costa Coffee, I have to queue up. Yeah, and maybe I've had a terrible time finding a parking spot, and I'm probably running late for wherever I have to go next, and those kind of things. So if these are things that the barista at the Costa Coffee can keep in mind through their training and induction, they can probably enhance my experience by like striking a good conversation with me, by making sure that the coffee is served as quick as possible, by empathizing with my possible situations, that the traffic in Bangalore is bad, the weather might be not that great. So those kind of things kind of reduces the friction and enhances the experience. That okay, ultimately I'm interacting with a person, and that person kind of relates with my
Right.
experience and is taking the extra effort of not just serving me coffee but having a good conversation and elevating my mood also, right? So those are it's just a very simple relatable example, but those are things that kind of should be kept in mind when it comes to designing the experience for your customer, and kind of making sure that the customer is at the center of the flywheel.
Right. So you're saying, like, let's say if there's a Starbucks and there's a Costa Coffee, and if Starbucks is the one who have their personal dedicated parking space, and plus there's a queue, but they serve quickly and stuff. So you're obviously going to choose Starbucks because they're going to provide you a better experience as a customer
De-
over Costa Coffee.
Definitely, yes. Those are ways that at least Starbucks, if it is doing all those things, at least Starbucks is thinking about the customer and trying to reduce those friction points. Like I mentioned, parking could be a problem. It's a friction point for me to reach and get my coffee. Ultimately, I want to get a coffee, not worry about parking, right?
Right, but so you mean reducing anything that comes in between you and the coffee,
Yeah.
right? So reducing anything between your path to drinking the coffee, and that is going to create a good customer experience.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome, right? So yeah, can you tell us, like, how do you create a customer focused marketing strategy? Like, what are some steps to follow?
I think it's quite straightforward. I kind of mentioned a little bit about in my earlier answer, where you start with a persona. You define your persona. The second thing is, again, you kind of visualize the journey of that persona through your business, and those journeys could be different aspects. Like let's stick to the coffee example. If the coffee company Starbucks, for example, over here sits down and just kind of visualizes the pre uh, engagement journey of the customer, the engagement journey of the customer, and post engagement journey. When what that means is that what is it that a customer has to do to get to the Starbucks? Within Starbucks, what is the journey of the customer after purchasing the coffee? You would have, I'm sure you've been to a Starbucks. You would notice you pay the bill and then you kind of go and sit down, relax. You get the coffee, or you get called for the coffee. You go pick it up, and all of that. So that's the journey. You have to kind of plan it out. And once you visualize that, what happens post that? Do you have an engagement mechanism for some places in Starbucks? I've seen you kind of get a card through which you can scratch and uh, build loyalty with the brand, and come back for a free cup of coffee. That's something that is happening post journey. So those are things that you first do. As a second step, you do that. You build a customer journey map, and then you from that you filter down the needs, desires, and problems of each of your customers. Now there are certain needs that you would know, like by default, because you're in the market. You build a product or a service that is catering and serving that need. There are certain desires that each of those personas could have personally. Like there could be a desire that, for instance, in our business, when we are helping our clients improve their customer experience, there is someone in our client's organization who is aspiring to become a customer experience champion within the organization. So that's that person's desire. Now we got to help that person in achieving that goal as well. So how do we enable that person? So we invest a lot in educating our clients around customer experience, in making sure that they understand the science and the art behind customer experience. So things like telling them what are the kind of questions that you should frame, how should you train your people to talk to your customers, those kind of things kind of influences the customer's experience, and that person whom we are selling to is getting a lot more value than just the solution that we are providing. So that's the desires part. And obviously there will be certain problems that person is facing. Those could be around customer retention, because with bad customer experience, customer retention becomes a problem, because if customers are having bad experience with a product or service, they're just going to churn out, right? So customer retention is a problem. So how do we help this person establish a connection between improvement in customer experience and improvement in retention? So those are things that kind of helps us build a customer focused strategy. So in summary, what I'm saying is that start with a persona, develop a customer journey map, understand your customer's journey through your business, from pre-engagement to post-engagement, and then understand the needs, desires, and problems. One of the ways to also capture the needs, desires, and problems is to go back and talk to your current customers, maybe talk to your competitors' customers as to what are their needs, desires, and problems. Some of the people would definitely open up and give you a bunch of information around this point.
That's true. That's an interesting step-by-step process that everyone can follow to create a customer-focused strategy. Right? That's totally interesting. And I was just going through your blog, and so you posted this recent article on what should be your customer resolutions for 2019. So I'm curious to know what's yours.
Oh, that's an interesting question. For me, so my customer focused resolutions for 2019 is to educate and add value to our customers around customer experience improvement.
Oh, awesome. It was great talking to you, Vivek.
Sunil, thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a fun conversation, and
Awesome.
thanks for asking such intriguing questions.